This is Starcast, the official podcast of your Billingham.
Hang on, that is so 2024.
This is Starcast, the official podcast of your Billingham Stars. Watch and listen for the very latest news and interviews from within the Big Red Machine.
Hi, we are back, and we are back to back because we are your two-time league champion, Billingham Town Council sponsored Billingham Stars. Welcome to Starcast. A whole lot of Billingham Stars news to get under discussion with Carol and with Jono. We've got a very special guest standing by also. But Carol's the background in Carol's studio says it all. First time of asking this year. Champions with a win on Sunday in Solihull. We'll talk about that in great detail a bit later. Obviously, both things aside, how are you, Carol and Jono? Are we both well?
I think Sunday certainly turned the a weekend around, should we say?
Very good. Without further ado, we'll talk about the game in detail later on. But we have joining us one of the architects of the game and the season. It's your Billingham Stars number 2. It is Jacob Hammond, and he joins us here on Starcast. Evening, Jacob. Thanks for joining us.
No problem at all. How are we?
We are just champion, as Carol said. How's things with you? A couple of days after Sunday night.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all gone. It all went as it could have, as well as it could have. I think these last few days has just been a bit of relaxing time. Finally letting it all settle in, really.
Yeah. And obviously Sunday, the way things worked out over the weekend, Saturday's result, and then Sunday made it possible for us to clinch. And we kind of did it 3-1 down, but we scored goals in bunches as we've done all year, and then kind of saw the job off from there. How's things in the dressing room kind of going into Sunday, and can you take us through the kind of the events from your side of things?
Yeah, well, going into Sunday's game, I think it just felt like I think we just went into it with a mentality of it's just like any other game, really. If you let the big scenarios get to your head too much, you can often that can be a downfall sometimes. So I think we just sort of went into it with just high hopes of winning the game, like we want to win every other game in the season, and I think that worked out well for us.
Yeah, and as the game went on, obviously we'll talk about it more and later on, but Solihull, I think we mentioned it last week as well. Solihull hasn't been the happiest of hunting grounds for us, and when it went 3-1 early in the second, we've done it all season. Did you have any thoughts, or was it just we'll get it back and so approved?
I think there's always some thought of like, we might have let this slip here, but I think if you let that creep into your mind too much and you don't just take it away with. You've just got to trust everyone else who you're on the ice with. And if you know you're giving 100%, then you know the person next to you is giving 100%, and then that's all you can really ask for from everyone. I think when we went 3-1 down from Ottson's goal in that second period, I think everyone sort of realised, like, we're going to have to really step up now to win this game, and we did.
Yeah, 100% we did. Carol, do you want to jump on?
Yeah, similar theme really, because we don't usually tend to bring a good game down to Solihull. I don't know what it is about that rink, but I thought it was noticeable on Sunday when we did go 3-1 down. The atmosphere wasn't the same as it has been in previous times we've been down there. Usually we start going down there and you can see the team sort of slump a little bit, but that never happened this time. It just seemed like the guys were like, yeah, we've got this. We just need to step it up. Did you feel that on the ice? Did you feel a different atmosphere?
Yeah, it felt totally different on the ice. Oftentimes in a game, if you're going down, especially against teams like Solihull who can score a lot of goals in the game with the players they've got, you can sort of just start to let the game loose a bit. And on the ice, I didn't think we were playing bad either at the time. I think they're just two. Well, I wouldn't say lucky goals. They were good goals, but probably could have went either way with the way they went in. And then Otterson's goal in that for the third one was a really good goal. And I think it was, in my eyes, it was just a 1-1 game. And I think it must have been the same for everyone else. And we just knew we had to just bounce back from that one goal that we conceded in the second. And it would all roll from there.
Jono?
Yeah, it's just more echoing the same of what the guy said as well. I think we went 3-1 down. The crowd looked around at each other going, oh, well, there's always next week. But you could just look into the players. You could see the body language of the players. And it was like, this is different. This is much different. And I think it as well, because I think we were the better team, and we were 3-1 down. We were the better team. And that belief is there in that team. You can see it. Just one goal scoring opportunity comes along. If we take it, we're back in it again. And yeah, it was just a weird performance. I've never seen us dominate such a good side like that before. From the first puck drop, like I say, we found ourselves 3-1 down, and we got ourselves back very, very quickly. And I just think that's the mentality of the lads. And just, yeah, it's just been, I think every week's been the same. And just that mentality is a huge key word. And it was never present more on Sunday.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think's been different this year, Jacob? I know you're only involved kind of maybe partially with the Stars last year. Too busy winning playoffs with Buccaneers and things like that. But the Stars this year, as Carol and John both say, it feels different. I know Fozzie said at the beginning of the year, yes, we were league champions, but we need to be better. And I think everybody's kind of taking that on board, whether it's physically, mentally, whatever. The team's just taking a step forward in pretty much every regard.
I think from what I can see this year is a lot of people are holding themselves accountable more than last year. So if things don't go the team's way, you look at yourself in the mirror and you think, what can I do to better the team? A lot of the two ways this year, like the likes of me, Lucas, Ben, have been playing a lot more minutes for the Stars this year. I think it sort of settles you in a bit more. You get used to playing with who you're playing with. You're not mixed up with different players, different attributes of different players. And I think you just you settle in a lot quicker at the league. Like this year, obviously we've played so many games and we've only lost a handful, if that. I think it's just down to everyone buying into their own game. And once everyone gets their own game down, it just sort of clicks together on the ice for everyone else.
Yeah. And the mental approach, I mean, you've said it when we had Mikey and Sykes on after the cup final, they kind of said it. In a way, it's a mantra from it comes from Fuzzy. It's this one game at a time thing. So you're only looking at your next fixture, and it's kind of maybe it's not as exciting for you want people to be up for things, but you're just looking at the minute Saturday and Deeside, and once that's done, then you look at Sunday for Deeside, then you look at Whitley Bay, then you look at so not getting too far ahead, and the kind of leadership from the top, from Fuzzy, from Richie Thornton, and then from your leadership group, that kind of set the tone for the team for the whole year. Yeah,
without a doubt. I think last year people might have been looking further in the future, like, oh, we've got so and so in a couple of weeks' time. I think if you take it one game at a time, it just everything sort of picks up where it left off for the next game. You can just straight away focus on whatever's ahead of you.
Yeah. Carol, do you want to jump with anything?
I'll just picking up on that team ethos, if you like. You and Mark and to a lesser extent Jack have had a stellar season between you and between the pipes. It must feel really good to know that one of yous or both of yous or even all three of yous at any one time can step in and be that key piece of the jigsaw for the Stars. You seem to have a really good goalie group going on there.
Yeah, we do. I'm not too sure what it was like last year because I was in like Jack's position where I was just sort of there helping out whenever I could. But I know this year it's from my perspective, it could have went either game could have went to me or Mark throughout the season. And Jack's been there every week. I think he's been there more than me and Mark combined, probably. I don't think he's missed a training session at all, and he really has come on leaps and bounds. And he's just there every week. He travelled to the games. He was there in Solihull. He just wants to be around the team, wants to improve, and I think the team trusts all three goalies on training and probably for every game of the season as well, which is a big thing to have in a team.
Yeah. Jono?
Yeah, I was just going to pick up on that. Like yourself and your form, is it always better knowing that the guy on the bench is in good form as well. For one to spare you on, but it's okay if anything happens. Mark can jump in the net. Just for example, obviously you picked up a little knock before Christmas, and I know how that can feel for myself from playing sports. I mean, does it get you down? Do you think like, oh no, I've let the lads down? But knowing that, do you know that with Mark going, you know what, it's going to be all right. Mark's a good netminder. I can just concentrate, getting fit, and be ready for when I'm ready because the team's in good hands.
Yeah, when I took that slight injury, it was more of like at first I thought, oh, I'm letting the team down. I don't think Mark had many games at that point. And I thought, like, what have I done? Like, how is this going to end up? And then Mark stood on his head for I think it was 2 weeks in a row. Totally just showed everyone like how he can play because he didn't get many minutes last year. And I know he absolutely stood on his head then few weeks in the cup semi-finals as well. It sort of spurs each other on because both of us want to be in the net as much as possible. You know, everyone wants to have that role as the starting goalie in a team. But I think in this team, it's just been backwards and forwards between Mark and myself all season.
Yeah. And it's been noticeable, as Carol says, the group, the 3 years, whether it's just training or games, as say supporting each other, you're always kind of the goalies. It's that queer thing, is it? Because you want to be in the net, but then you also support the guy who is playing in net. So it's kind of maybe a strange dynamic. But the goalie group we have this year is really strong, and you look like a really strong together trio, which is good for you three supporting each other, but for the team as well.
Yeah, everyone just wants to get better every week from us three specifically, and if the other person's better in that week, then you know, hats off to them. Then that's how hard they've worked.
Yeah. Obviously we've got the last few weeks of the regular season, and it's playoffs. And I know we're not looking at playoffs because it's a one game at a time. Blah blah blah. The Deeside double headers first. Has there been any discussion about the longer term, or I'm giving you the chance to break the coven of the dressing room here? Do you talk about the future, or is everybody bought into this? We're just looking at Deeside, and then we'll look at Whitley Bay, and then we'll look at the following week, and then the one game at a time.
There's definitely talks of obviously playoffs. You know, since your spot gets solidified and you find out sort of what position you're playing, you know, everyone's got something to say about it. But the majority of everyone's focus is Saturday, then Sunday, then the Saturday again.
Yeah. Anything from you, Jono, Carol?
I was just going to say about the crowd at Solihull on Sunday, because obviously it's quite hostile if you're a visiting netminder. But hopefully the fact that we definitely had at least 3 times the number of fans that we usually take there. Did that help any on Sunday?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's one of the main reasons Solihull get so many wins is the fans at their place. Like it's such a small area, and obviously you can hear every word people are saying around you. It's quite a weird environment to play in, and I think the fact that our fans were there to spur us on every minute of the game, it really helped a lot. I quite like their fans, not necessarily the stuff they're saying, because some of it's, you know, they're trying to get under your skin, but I like that aspect of the game. You know, people are trying to get under your nerves. It obviously means you're playing well, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, 100%. And the fans in general this year, well, not just this year, the last 2-3 years since we've been on this, I don't want to go all like X Factor, but since we've been on this journey, since COVID, since bringing the young kids through, the fans have been alongside, and has it been noticeable from the players on the ice, noticing the fans, like week after week, we seem to be getting new fans coming through, and we hang on to them, and we keep adding, and obviously the cup final was the kind of pinnacle at the minute, and hopefully the last couple of home games will see those fans continue. But the fan support for the last couple of years, Jacob, has it been noticeable from the players on the ice?
Yeah, massively. Not just at home games neither. It's a every single league game, cup game, playoff game, and away from home as well. It just seems to grow week on week, and you know, you can't really ask for much more from people turning up. You know, if we sell out a home rink, that's brilliant. If we take maybe 10, 15 more fans every few weeks to away games, it's even better.
Yeah. Mr. Supporters Club Chairman, do you want to?
Yeah, I was going to go back to the game actually, because obviously Jacob's in that position where, unfortunately, he gets to look all the way down the ice at the opposite scoreboard. And obviously, as we head into that third period with only a 2-goal lead, do you watch the scoreboard? Do you sit like us and go, how was only 5 minutes past?
I felt like the game actually went really fast at the weekend. I don't know if there was many stoppages or not. I don't seem to click on much until after the games. But I think the whole weekend sort of went by quite quick, which is a good thing. Because if there was another 5 or so minutes in that game, it could have went either way again. I think all night we were dominating, but like we had to pull ourselves out of some scenarios at times. And looking at the clock, I think the last minute and a half, I counted the clock down a little bit. And I think with about 8 seconds left, we managed to dump the puck out the zone. And sort of like all pressure was relieved at that point. And, you saw people getting ready to jump off the bench. And it just puts a smile on your face.
Yeah. So we've had 2 of those moments, sticks and gloves in the air, layer in the ice. We've had 2 of those moments so far. Hopefully it's certainly not the last of that kind of occasion for the Billingham Stars. Really appreciate your time, Jacob, tonight. Thanks for jumping on. Many congratulations once again for the weekend and the season so far. It's been fantastic to watch. Look forward to seeing you over the weekend, home and away against Deeside. But thanks for jumping on Starcast, and we'll see you at the weekend.
No problem at all. Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks, Jacob.
And there he's off. Great to hear from Jacob.
I don't know what third period he was watching, by the way, but that third period went on a long time.
It was at least a day.
2 goals were scored and only 4.5 minutes had passed, and we looked at the scoreboard going, "Oh my god!"
Yeah. Well, so we'll watch the footage. We've got the goals. Luckily, we've got permission to put the goals up, so the goals will be coming out as well. People will have a look at that. But I was going to thank Jacob again, but he's gone. So thanks to Jacob for jumping on. Great to hear from the players as always. Obviously, we had Fozzie's post game on Sunday. We'll talk about that in a minute as well. But we'll start the show proper. Episode 29 of Starcast, and as we said at the top, a very special one again. Another trophy for your Billingham Stars. First 2 items on the agenda done. So we'll talk about the Solihull game in detail with Carol and Jono, who were there at ringside. We'll do our usual roundup of results and tables, and then we'll look ahead at the next double header. It's a home and away with the Deeside Dragons, the party bus to North Wales on Saturday, and then back home. Seems like ever since we were at the Forum Ice Arena, and it was the cup final like last month, like forever. Deeside double header, and we've got some any other business bits and pieces as well. So plenty still to come here on Starcast. So we've kind of not to spoil the surprise, but we'll talk about the game in a bit more detail. Obviously, you were both there. I was following on social media. Do you want to start with the pre-game? Obviously, we talked about it last week. Hobbs Moat Road, never enjoy going down there. The results generally don't go our way. What was the feeling travelling down towards the game, Carol, on Sunday night?
John will tell you, I just kept saying I felt sick. I think last year traumatized me more than I had appreciated, because every game we've played that's meant something since, I've felt sick. So I took that at the time as a bad omen. I was thinking, I don't feel good about this game. It turns out it was just anxiety induced. I think I just felt like I was going to vomit at any moment, and that continued until about the last 30 seconds of the game. But I think pre-game, I don't know. I couldn't see us winning, but that wasn't because I didn't think we were good enough. We are the best team in the league.
Yeah,
we can say that now. But it always just seems to be a combination of factors when we go there, that something happens and something goes against us, and I think I just said it to Jacob there. Sometimes we've gone behind in situations there, and they never seem to really be able to recover from it, because I don't know, maybe it's in our heads now that Hobbs Moat Road's not a great place to play. But that never happened this time. Jono's spot on. We went 3-1 down. We were the better team. So it just felt different. And Jono's described it exactly the same as me, but I'm struggling to put more context to it. It just felt different. I still felt sick though, but like I say, that's just trauma. It's trauma.
The journey down was weird. It was one of those like, Deeside would be fun next week, and that was kind of the conversation. We're like, we're going because we support them wherever they go. But it wasn't one of, we're going to do this. This is our time. This is our moment. We know we're a good team. We know we're better than them. But it was just, it's Solihull, and we know what happened at Solihull. And then, like as Carol said, it wasn't because we weren't good enough. It was just other factors always play a part. No matter what we've gone there. I think earlier in the season we never got our too many men on the ice call, which changed the absolute context of the game. It changed it completely. The year before, I think there was another non-call that was meant. Rowley was tripped center ice, and they went and scored. That was the year before. It was just those daft moments, but these didn't happen. They weren't there. There was nothing on the officiating. He had a good game, but yeah, we went 3-1 down, and when those lads went to the face-off at 3-1 down, shoulders weren't slumped. They were straight into the face-off circle, going, "Yep, let's go. We'll get the next goal." And I think it was bang bang straight away, like what we do. It was 3-3 within an absolute flash, and I think we went on to score like 5 goals on the bounce, was it? And we were the better team, and we deserved it. If anything, and maybe I'm wrong, and they'll tell me I'm wrong, but they looked scared of us. They looked intimidated by us.
Yeah. I would agree.
Was it always like you're treating this like as a free goal almost? Because we weren't expecting Blackburn to drop a point on the Saturday, so we weren't expecting to be able to win the league on Sunday. No. So the fact that it happened, were you kind of looking on it as you can play with house money, kind of a free shot at this one?
Yeah, I think if with Blackburn losing or dropping points the night before, I think it put more pressure on the fans than it did the team. Because obviously we all got giddy going, right, this is the moment, this is the time, but then it's Solihull. But yeah, it's really hard to explain. I mean, I wish I could watch the full 60 minutes just to see if the game went like it did in my head. But like I say, I would never want to experience that third period again because that lasted a day and a half.
We'll go through the details before you relive this day and a half, and then we'll talk about the action and see if you've summed it up pretty well. But, so it finished 4-8, Solihull 4, Billingham 8. Solihull goals: Alex White with 2, Zach Yokoyama and Nicholas Otterson, of course. For the Billingham Stars, Roland Gritans, a hat-trick. People forgot Roland Gritans is a bloody good hockey player. Ian Brown, James Moss, Tommy Spraggan, Michael Elder and Darren Stattersfield. A 2-on-1 with Darren Stattersfield as your trail-on man. We'll talk about that later. But anyway, 8-4, shots on goal, 53-45 in the Stars' favour. And Jacob Hammond, who we talked to earlier, was in net with 41 saves. So you said at the start there about Solihull and about Hobbsboat Road, and we go down 1-0 in 4.5 minutes because it's Solihull. But then you say Rowley comes back, nicks a puck in the corner, turns it over, scores, gets dumped on his arse for the privilege, but scores. And then Zach scores a shot through Jacobs, kind of hit his mask on the way in. 2-1 end of first, but you still feel it wasn't that kind of game.
No, it wasn't. It really wasn't. It felt in control. Pretty much from since before they scored the first goal, it just felt different. It felt like we had control of ourselves. It felt like we had control of the game. You knew that they've got guys that can score, and you knew that they were going to cause at least a few problems. Actually, Nicholas Otterson had quite a quiet night, I thought. Didn't even notice Zach Yokoyama. Sorry, just didn't. Apart from when he his little celebration quote in front of our fans, thanks Zach. But other than that, I just felt that the lads had come there to do a job, just that game, just like Foz said, one game at a time. I don't think they were thinking about the title. I think they were just thinking, well, we've come here to get the 3 points, and that's what we're going to do. So it just never fell out of our hands at all. It just it was really quite inspiring to watch at times. I haven't forgotten that Rawley's a good player, by the way. I think he just chose Sunday to remind everybody. But you could that second line, first, whatever, started on first, but that second line once again was stellar on Sunday night. Absolutely stellar. And that's actually, you might argue, is the line that other teams should be paying attention to at the minute.
Yeah, and I think that is the team's problem for other teams. They do now either go, right, we stop Ian Brown, so there's 2 men on him. So then you leave Chris Sykes, the world, to score goals. And then it's like, we need to stop this line, so they put the best line against it. So you're giving the top line more space again, and it's like, good luck. Stop us at your peril.
Yeah, I mean, Sykes,
because even then you've got Wilco, who's got what, he's
just quietly. We've said this a couple of weeks. Quietly, just another 3 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Carol summed it up. Like we skated better than them, and in the first period, granted we were passing okay, but it wasn't as a snappy usual itself. Our passing actually turned up in the second period, and I think that showed with the amount of goals that we scored. I think that's probably the one thing that let us down in the first period is our passing wasn't as snappy and crisp as it can be. But I don't think that was down to the players really. I think the ice surface was a bit trash, and obviously you can't use the boards to make players with because the puck goes anywhere it wants.
It's very similar to Whitley Bay in that respect. It has boards that defy the laws of physics.
But yeah, I think, as I said earlier, I think they became very much intimidated of us. They backed off us, and I think they were a bit unsure of what they were getting, and they didn't know how to respond.
Well, we'll talk about that middle period. So it was 2-1 Solihull end of first, and then in the start of the second, Solihull got a delayed penalty goal. Nicholas Utterson finished an odd man break. Made it 3-1 at 26:20, and then as Jono says, within 1 minute and 10 seconds, it was 3-3. Ian Brown at the back stick, finishing his 61st, and then Rowley cleaning up again, another rebound. So a minute or so after going 3-1 down, it's 3s each, and the momentum's with the Billingham Stars, and that showed in the penalties that were taken. You mentioned that the odd man, too many men. That was Zach Yokoyama jumping on, trying to get an advantage. After everybody and his wife in the Billingham shirt shouting, "Hi, ref, too many." The linesman finally noticed. And that 5-on-3 turned the game at the end of the second period. So the PP, James Moss, that wrist shot again. He scored a few in the last few weeks. He's got the wrist shot working again. So Mossy made it 4-3, and then the goal that won the league, that won the game. We'll say these 3 words don't normally follow each other. Tommy Spraggan slapshot. Through traffic, glorious finish, finds the twine. 33-50 again, 2 goals on a 5-on-3. Capitalised as much as we could. 5-3 end of second, and I think I texted you, Carol. Now I was nervous. 2 goals up, third period in Solihull to come. Now I was nervous. I wasn't bothered, like you say, as we said. Solihull, whatever happens. But then 2 goals up at the end of the second, I was like, oh, now I'm going.
The 2-goal lead is the worst one in hockey, remember?
But then, I mean, you were there. Tell me. But like I say, looking at the details, following on social, we just played the third period out and wasn't really trouble. We got the 6th goal to stretch it to 3 goals. Rowley completing his hat trick. And we kind of just saw out the game.
It didn't feel like that. I mean, it didn't feel like that. I mean, as you said, we all got nervous in that third period. I think we were all just enjoying a really good game. And then it's like, now it's 2-goal lead. Now we're only 20 minutes away. Now there's something to play for. Now it means something. It's like, I was just enjoying the game. It was a nice game. Can we just go back to doing that? And then we get the goal and we think, right, okay, that's better now. 3 goals, we can settle down. And then we concede. It's like, oh, God, here we go. Only 3.5 minutes have passed. Yeah. and that's pretty much how it felt until the goals came in again. And I think it got down to about 5-6 minutes, and I think it was like, yeah, we're all right now. We're better than these, and they know we're better than these, and I think they're starting to run out of ideas.
Yeah, so Alex White made it 6-4. His second goal of the game, 23rd of the season. Assisted by Mulcahy Notterson, because, of course. And then Michael Elder made it 7-4. And he kind of, I'm guessing, now I've seen his celebration. I think that was Mr. kind of getting back at Zach, because he give the old big point back to the bench after Mikey scored. And then, so yours, he was on the fans at ringside. It's 4-4 because they had a penalty, we had a penalty, and we get a 2-1. And you notice the trailing man is Darren Stattersfield. What were you thinking?
Yeah, I don't mind. I mean, if anyone wants to get in his way, fair play to them. When he is a unit, and especially I love it when he carries the puck forward. He's a bit like Big Joe Walls. I mean, when they carry the puck, there's not a lot stopping them. So when there's one single defenseman watching these two skating at them, I mean, you're going to try and take the puck on the smaller guy, aren't you, and not the big guy who was coming down. And he banged in the rebound, and boy, did he enjoy it.
Mossy had the initial shot, and it was loose in front, and there was Darren to tap it in. 2 goals all season, and they've been built as the all count, as they say.
I mean, I'd like to have known Mossy's thoughts, thinking, "Oh, I'm on a 2-1. Who am I on 2-1 here? Darren, what's he doing here?" I'll have to take the shot.
It was all written in the stars. It was all meant to be. So that was 56-55, 3 minutes to go, a 4-goal lead. Did you enjoy the final 3 minutes?
I'd say I enjoyed the final minute and a half. I wouldn't say
the final 3 minutes were easier.
Easier,
yeah. 4 goals, and you think, yeah, we're all right now.
And then, as we saw in the new titles, on the buzzer, sticks and gloves strewn across the ice, a fantastic sight. All hockey fans love to see, and an impromptu celebration. Obviously, the fans in their little corner joining in, and as the players came off the ice as well. Just that experience winning on the road again. Obviously, we did it in Hull last year. Pretty much the same sort of weekend.
Yeah.
But doing it at the first time of asking this year.
Yeah. It felt different. That's the theme of this particular podcast, I think. Last year, the whole thing was just massive relief, because we just struggled so badly for weeks before that. So the whole thing was, obviously it felt brilliant, but it also came with a huge dollop of relief. Whereas Sunday, it was like, first time of asking, this is fantastic. Yeah. It's in the bag, brilliant.
Yeah, it felt like it felt like this is rightfully ours. This is ours. We've dominated all season long. No one's come close to us. We've lost 3 games in 32, I think it is, or 33 games, whatever it is we played. We have dominated this season, and now we have 2 trophies to show for it, and maybe more to come.
Yeah, and that is it is. And again, when I texted to say I was nervous, I also said the players are probably the most calm people in the rink.
100% were.
Yeah,
because we saw it at the cup final. That should have told us that this is different.
Yeah.
So
I've been telling Carol that for weeks in the car when she keeps going, I don't have a good feeling about this one.
I know it genuinely. I think I've got post-traumatic stress disorder from last year.
But yeah, I mean, obviously Carol's had Billingham's fan journey for a while. I've had the Billingham, but I've also before that in previous life, the Newcastle fans' journey was very similar. We weren't allowed to have nice things. We got so close to nice things, we weren't really allowed nice things. So then when the nice things come along, it's like, enjoy them all the more.
Yes, very much so.
I mean, we talked to Jacob. We heard from Fozzie in his post game, and a smiling media selfie as well, Carol, which was nice to see in the interview. What was the thoughts? Obviously, so they had the celebration, and we've already heard it from Jacob, and we heard it from Fozzie, from Sykesy and Mikey when we won the cup. The weekend's done now. We're on to the next thing, and as boring as it may seem, that's the kind of thing that sets the team up for success.
Absolutely. I mean, we went in the playoffs last year in the ugliest form.
Yeah.
It couldn't have been any uglier trying to go into that playoffs to win a tournament. And I believe still something that's still up for grabs this season. I believe the wins record's still available. And that's a big thing. That's a big achievement. To be the team with the most wins ever in a season. That for me, that's huge. So if that's something we can go on to get, that's another tick in our bow of a very dominant season. And it will set up as well for the playoffs, no matter who we play and when we play them.
Yeah. No, it was fantastic. I say, following on from social, for the most part, it wasn't nervous. End of the second, I was like, whew. But then all's right in the end. And as I say, the goal roll will be coming out. It's Tuesday night as we're recording this. The goal roll should be out tonight. You'll be able to watch the goals, watch the celebrations, and obviously we'll have more to come. When we talk to the guys, hopefully a trainer will get some extra words ahead of the weekend. Anything more on Sunday in the league? Are we adopting the Stephen Foster position and just parking it? Yes, Carol.
Yeah, just a very, very quick thank you to Keith and Jenny Davies for kindly allowing us to use their rather fantastic photos.
Indeed. Yeah, no, they've been huge fans of the sport, and obviously down in Solihull. Great photos. We're very blessed to have a lot of great photographers. We mentioned our snappers at the cup final, but there's a lot of great photographers around the league as well, and sharing those images to help our sport show itself at its best, which is good. But yeah, thanks to Keith and Jenny, we've got that shared with England Ice Hockey as well. They give us a shout out on social. So another quiet one for your socials, Carol, for your notifications.
It's quite funny. I haven't actually checked my own socials for what feels like weeks now, and I looked today and there's stuff that I've missed because I just haven't had time to look at anything other than a million stars notifications. So thanks, guys. Keep it up, by the way.
Yeah, they're the notifications that we like. We'll leave it there then. We'll take a break and we'll come back. We'll talk about the results around the rest of the league. A couple of playoff slots are now confirmed. We do have our first confirmed quarterfinal as well. We'll tell all on the other side of this. It's Starcast for your Billingham Town Council, Billingham Stars. Welcome back to Starcast, episode 29, and it's time to look ahead. Look back, rather. The results from the weekend just gone around your NIHL North Division 1. A fairly busy programme. Saturday, Sheffield 4, Deeside 10. Saturday also, Hull 4, Blackburn 5 in a shootout. The game we referenced earlier, which enabled Sunday to be Sunday. And Widnes, big home win for the Widnes Wild, 8-4 over the Nottingham Lions. I'll talk about that in a moment as well. Sunday schedule, Whitley 9, Nottingham 4, Sheffield 1, Blackburn 7, Deeside 9, Leeds 3, and Solihull 4, Billingham 8. We have talked about at great length. Miss Carol, where would you like to start?
I won't start in the obvious place. I'll let Jono talk about Blackburn if he wants, but I'm going to start with how poor Nottingham looked to have been at the weekend. I think they just do it on purpose now. After we spent time on this podcast bigging them up and how much they've improved this season, they were terrible this weekend. So their chance of catching Whitley's gone. I don't know whether they've just decided, oh, well, we're in 7th, we're going to play Blackburn. Let's just focus on that. They're taking the anti-Stephen Foster route and not focusing on a game at a time and just looking forward to the playoffs now. But certainly they were not results that I expected from Nottingham. I actually thought they would win in Widnes. And I kind of expected Whitley to win on Sunday, but not by 5 goals. I don't know what happened there, but Lions were rubbish. this weekend, and that was a little unexpected for me.
Yeah. As you say, 2 versus 7 is now a fixed quarterfinal. We'll show that in a second. Lions, not many, obviously nothing left to play for in terms of league position. Momentum, you would hope, would have something to do with it, but I think they've also thrown in a challenge game against Peterborough Phantoms too.
Yeah.
Who've somehow
their season finished about 3 years ago, I think.
Finished their season and just after Christmas by the feeling of it. So Phantoms and Nottingham, the two clubs have a fairly close relationship, so that's a beneficial fixture possibly for both teams. So 2 versus 7. We'll show the playoff quarterfinals in a moment. Jono, anything from you, fixture result wise?
Yeah, I think we've got to go on a whole bit, and just talk about that little result. I think everyone was going about their Saturday as normal until a few scores started coming through from that game, and then everyone was in our chat that we have, our Stars chat that we have, and everyone was getting a bit giddy and a bit excited. We had a spy in the camp, which was Jacob's mum. She was there at the game, visiting her daughter, so we were getting some feedback of what was going on there. And then, it turned out that Hull managed to get them to overtime, and it made Sunday's mathematics quite a simple one. But I think that's a hell of a performance from the Hull Jets. I don't know if Blackburn have took their eye off the ball there, or maybe just a bit themselves, just slowing down a bit, trying to get some rest, get more ice time for the third and fourth lines. But whatever happened, I'm not that really bothered. It got us what we needed a little bit earlier.
Yeah. I mean, they had the full lineup. They had more skaters than Hull did. Jacob Lutwich scored, which is what he's done all season. 43 goals for him. Blackburn were 2-0 up. Then it was 2s each. Blackburn were 3-2 up. Then Hull were 4-3 up until Blackburn levelled just over 5 minutes from time, and then they dominated the shootout. But Ben Kelly was in net, so it was like first starters from Blackburn. So you've got to give a huge pat on the back to the Hull Jets. Zach Brown, 48 saves on 52 shots. Obviously doing a sterling job for the Hull Jets in net. So that made, like it says, Jono says, made the maths a lot easier on Sunday. Anything else from other games, or do you want to just go straight to the table?
I think the rest was pretty much as expected, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, we'll talk about the goals as well, because we've got to mention where our competition of last week was to guess the number of goals scored this weekend. Breaking news: nobody got anywhere near, because there was a 14, there was a 12, there was a 13, there was a 12, and there was a 12. Nobody got close. But we'll do that in any other business for those who are listening. League table. Up until now, we've been looking at the Qs on the right-hand side, but now we need to look at the top, and the C has replaced the number 1 because we are les champions, champion du monde, or whatever. So 90 points from 33 games. Blackburn on 83. They're certainly in second. Solihull looking fairly certain in third, but still mathematically can be caught. So it's Solihull, Deeside, Hull, then the Warriors. Still 4 games left to play. Nottingham certain to finish 7th, and then this little game at the bottom of the division. Sheffield mathematically not out of it. They can still get 21 points. So not certainly out of it just yet. But then Widnes with their big win over Nottingham, just 2 points behind the Leeds Knights. So the races we're kind of looking at, that middle of the pack again, to see who plays. I know Whitby are still kind of penciling in a 3-6 against Solihull. Deeside Hull is looking fairly certain, but again, there's still games to be played, and then that chase for the 8th. Do you want to look at the fixtures again for the remaining games in North 1 for the playoff for that 8th spot?
8th spot.
So Leeds have a home game. They've got 2 home games. They're at home to Hull this coming weekend and home to Nottingham. And they are also away to Sheffield Similar. So 3 games left for Leeds Knights. Widnes have a home game with the Nottingham Lions, and they are away to the Hull Jets and Whitley Warriors. So away Whitley, away Hull, a double away weekend this weekend coming, and then a home game with Nottingham to finish off for the Widnes Wild. Sheffield, very much the outsiders. Home games against Solihull, against Leeds, and they are away to Solihull. So they're home and away to Solihull. So that would suggest Sheffield may not get the 9 points from 9 games to get them into that 8th spot. So Leeds Widnes, where's your money looking? Carol, you can go first.
Leeds. And I just can't see beyond Leeds. If we're going to be brutal, if you only pick one game out of the games you've mentioned, I think Leeds beat Sheffield fairly comfortably.
Yeah, would you go along with that, Jono?
Yeah, I would go Leeds, but I don't know. We keep writing this Widnes team off, and we've said for weeks that they're probably just going to be too far out, and it's currently 3 points, and they're making an absolute season of it, considering where they were. Not that rock bottom and without a win, and looking sorry for themselves, really. We were asking big questions of them and what they were going to do about it, and here they are. They're now battling for that 8th spot, and you just never know.
So we'll have a good idea this weekend. Widnes a double away, Whitley and Hull. We'll have a better idea. Leeds are at home to Hull this weekend, and home to Nottingham, and away to Sheffield last weekend of the regular season. So that's your league table. We mentioned the playoff brackets are starting to take shape. The number 1 seed is written in pen. 2 versus 7, as we said, is now firmly in the schedule as well. Blackburn versus Nottingham. And then the other fixtures, as things stand, 3-6 will be Solihull Whitley, and 4-5 will be Deeside Hull. If the playoffs started now, 1 versus 8 will be Leeds at the moment. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on the bracket as the weekend moves along. And quickly to next week's fixtures, before we start talking about the Deeside doubleheader in more detail. So Saturday, 5:15, now it says 5 o'clock there. Deeside 5:15 for the visit of the Billingham Stars. The party bus will be in full effect. A special guest visitor coming from down on the south coast as well. Once and former guest, Banners on the Wall, will be in North Wales on Saturday.
He knows the script as well. I believe he's staying over, thinking that it's going to be a wild party in our block, and I don't think we'll let him down. I'll put it that way.
We'll show him how it's done, Teesside style, I'm sure. Also Saturday, a home game on a Saturday for the Whitley Warriors against the Widnes Wild, and Leeds Knights against the Hull Jets. And then Sunday, 4 games on the schedule for Sunday: Billingham Deeside, Blackburn Whitley, Hull Widnes, and Sheffield Solihull. So we'll talk about Billingham's games in a moment. Anything jumping out there? Obviously, we mentioned Widnes. We'll have a better idea after their away doubleheader. Anything else taking your fancy?
Hawks Warriors is normally always a tasty one.
Yeah,
that could just, well, even though it's coming towards the end of the season, there's still enough to play for both teams, especially the Warriors. Yeah, it could be a tasty affair, that one.
Yeah, it's not quite a dead rubber, because it's certainly for Whitley, they need to sort things out to get into a form for the postseason. So we'll see what happens there. We'll follow on social media as always, and we'll talk about it next week on Starcast. We'll leave our graphics and things there for now. So this weekend, Stars finally return to home action, but not until Sunday, having been in North Wales first on Saturday. We'll just take the weekend as a whole rather than talk about the 2 games, because it's a home and home double header, so we may as well just talk about Deeside. We haven't seen them for a while. What do we think of the Deeside Dragons? Carol, we've talked about them a lot. in terms of their performances and where they are, and what kind of season they've had up and down. I think a roller coaster doesn't even begin to begin to describe what's happened on North Wales. So, what are you expecting from the Dragons this weekend?
Your guess is as good as mine. Depends which Deeside turn up, doesn't it? They're either on fire or a damp squib. There is no in between. So, literally, your guess is as good as mine. Also depends on whether the big man turns up this weekend. We as Stars, the 2 games that we've played against them so far, we haven't. Well, first game he hadn't even signed, but we haven't seen the best of Jake McCalsey yet. That's for sure. He wasn't particularly on his game when we played them just before Christmas. But lately, if you go by the stats and by what other fans are saying, he seems to have settled in, shall we say.
Yeah.
He got his 100th point, I believe, at the weekend, which is a phenomenal scoring rate if you just average that out over the games he's actually played. So he could actually be battling with Mr. Otterson as best import in the league, TM. So it genuinely just depends which Deeside turn up. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. I mean, looking at the results so far this season, Jono, I think the one thing you can expect in a Deeside game is goals. Whichever end.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, no matter what they bring to us, we know that we're going to score goals because they concede lots of goals. So as long as we're solid, we're comfortable, and we can keep Jay to the outside, keep him quiet, keep his opportunities down, we will score enough goals to win this game, in my opinion. I think they'll be well up for it. They're the first team to play against us with the bigger target on our back. Now we are champions. But we've also got a point to prove to say this is why we are champions. And I back our team to do after doubting them over the last few weeks. I certainly won't be doing that again. But the biggest problem that the Deeside Dragons have is they concede a lot of goals, and one of the big things that we do is score a lot of goals. So I think that they may take their eye off the ball of their own offensive threat.
Yeah, I say it's before Christmas. We saw them. We won down 6-4 down there in North Wales. A lot's happened obviously since then. If you look at their media and their social media, they're kind of bigging them up as on a good run heading into the playoffs. I know was it Zero Pucks have got them as his dog horse for the playoffs, and we know if Jay comes to form and they get the goaltending, there will be a threat in a one-off game. But looking at the goals conceded this season, that goaltending hasn't been. It's been there very few and very far between. So it looks like it's going to be whatever's going to happen. There'll be a lot of red lights going off around North Wales and Teesside this weekend. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the league table, there's one column that stands out like an absolute sore thumb, and that's the goals against column. One team hasn't even conceded 100 goals yet, and they probably won't this season. And that probably tells you why they're league champions. And I think that will be the big difference going into this weekend. Our defense is a lot better than theirs. And for me, that will be the biggest difference.
Yeah. For those who are keeping score, those numbers John was talking about, one team has conceded 79 and one team has conceded 176. Nearly 100 goals more in the same amount of games. So now we know it's going to be like a 2-1 overtime.
1-0. 0-0 going into overtime. What the hell is this?
Yeah, what do we know? But obviously, we mentioned the party bus, but again, at the time of the playoffs, the cup final, we put it was the final away game of the regular season. So the supporters club again put the bus on, and the fans have answered in big numbers, Jono, and there's a full bus going down, and again there'll be people going down. A huge Teesside contingent plus banners on the wall. Obviously, we'll be there in the Teesside corner. A a huge red wall again going to North Wales.
Yeah, absolutely, and I hope that name sticks to it from Blackburn, the Red Wall, because that's exactly what it'll be come Saturday. The numbers are going to be there. I think there's a few surprises going to be there as well. There might be a couple of banners. There's a certain person's birthday on Saturday as well. So, I mean, there's probably going to be a lot of singing and wishing that certain person a happy birthday. You might have seen them tonight already. But yeah, it's going to be a great weekend. I don't think we got to celebrate winning the league that much last year, just for the way it went. And now we've got 3 games at the end of the season that we can let everyone know that we're the best and we're loud and proud about it.
Yeah. And then finally, after the North Wales trip, Carol, back on late Saturday night, early Sunday morning, whenever the teams get back. Finally, we get back to the Forum on Sunday afternoon, and we get to welcome the back-to-back league champions onto home ice. Again, Deeside providing the opposition, but the huge relief of getting the fans back in the home ice, getting them to welcome back their champions is going to be a fantastic occasion at the Forum.
Oh, can't wait. It feels like, I don't know what it feels like to you guys, but it feels like months since we were last at the Forum. Yeah. Everything, so much has happened since that cup final. It feels like a long time. So it's gonna be great. I mean, I do hope the fans turn out in numbers. I'm sure they will. Who doesn't want to come and see league champions play? So let's get that Forum rocking. It's gonna be great. I'm sure that the fans will be loud and proud, just as they have been home and away recently. I know all teams claim they've got the best fans in the league, but I think we might be the only team that can actually prove it. So we'll take that title as well. I know you don't get a trophy for it, but best fans in the league by far, home and away this season.
The Red Wall. They deserve the title of the Red Wall as well. Fantastic to see.
Get the fans back at the Forum on Sunday. So it's 5:15 Deeside Leisure Centre on Saturday. So if you're on the bus, enjoy the party bus experience. If you're travelling down independently, travel safe, loud and proud, usual. It's a nice facility at Deeside. It's not. I've been there a few times. It's not cold, is it? It's decent.
It's all right.
No, it's just a standard ice rink, to be fair.
Yeah. We're in block 1, I think. Is it?
Yes, we are going to go down to block 1 because there's probably going to be that many of us.
So if you're traveling independently, block 1's the place to be. You'll see everybody there, I'm sure. But yeah, travel well, travel safe. And then Sunday, 5:30, back at the Forum Ice Arena, the home return of your back-to-back league champion Billingham Stars. 5:30 against the Deeside Dragons. 2 games this weekend for your Stars. Anything else on the Deeside double before we look at any other business?
Don't think so.
No,
nothing jumping out.
I'm trying to remember if there's decent rink food at Deeside. I don't think there is there? Oh, should have mentioned in the Solihull slot, well done to the Red Wall for bolstering the chippies take-ins, given the queue out after the game. That was quite funny.
Did they have gravy? That's the important question.
There was a few people who asked for chips and gravy, to be fair.
Yeah, I think that one might stick.
Yeah, we love northern girls and boys love gravy. It's fact.
Indeed. Well, quickly to any other business. I know, Carol, you want to mention this as well. So by virtue of, I don't know if we mentioned this, by virtue of we won the league on Sunday, we now add an extra fixture now to our fixture list on Sunday the 20th.
Yes.
That's correct, yep.
Easter Sunday, I believe.
Yep.
The Stars will rise again and head down to Coventry to play their second National Division 1 Championship game against the winners of South Division 1. Last year it was the Streatham Red Hawks. We talked about that game with Anthony Russell. We didn't really get a grip with it until it was probably too late. So this year we know what we're doing. This year is different. I think that can be a hashtag, Carol.
Yeah.
This year is different.
Different. Hashtag.
So we looked at the league tables from our end. So we thought have a quick look at the goings on in the Britain Division, South Division 1.
So
if you don't already, have a listen to Ben, who does Zero Pucks Given. He does a great roundup episode every Monday or Tuesday. All of the games in the division, gets coaches' comments as well. How he does it on a Monday or a Tuesday straight after the games is fantastic. Fantastic stuff from the coaches and from Ben pulling it all together. But it's turning into a bit of a barn burner down south. Streatham were upset by Invicta at the weekend.
Sunday, 3-2.
So it's currently the Slough Jets, who are 1 point clear of Streatham, and then Chelmsford are mathematically not out of it, but they're not going to. So it's between Slough and Streatham for the title and the chance to play the Billingham Stars, the honour of playing the Billingham Stars in Coventry. So keep an eye on that, possibly over the next couple of weeks as well. We'll make it a regular feature. But yeah, certainly give Ben at Zero Pucks Given a shout out. Anything from you on the South, Carol?
Yeah, I was looking at the running for both of those teams, and not only is Slough a point clear, they have, you would argue, they've got the slightly easier running as well. So I think it's advantage Slough. But given the way that this particular league has gone this season, I think anything can happen yet. So it's definitely not a done deal, but you would say Streatham slipping up on Sunday may just end up costing them.
Yeah, Slough Jets.
I wouldn't like to bet against them.
No. But this league has been nip and tuck pretty much since the first game. So
yeah,
it's been quite interesting to watch the as this particular story's played out. So there might yet be a few twists and turns, but I mean, looking at the running, I'd say it's probably advantage Slough.
So this coming weekend, Slough play Milton Keynes on Saturday, and then Streatham play Milton Keynes on Sunday. So that's going to be a wash.
Yeah.
Result wise, Slough the following weekend have this coming weekend they're away to Romford.
Yeah.
Which is not an easy game, and then finish off at home to the Cardiff Fire. Streatham, I say they've got Milton Keynes. Streatham then have Cardiff away, and what's the other game? He says, look at the
Devils, I think.
Trying to look at the fixture. Yeah, Solent on the 23rd. So they both play MK. They both play Cardiff. So you would think those games would be a wash. So it's going to be who gets the best out of the Solent Devils and the Romford Buccaneers.
Yeah.
So we'll keep that with interest. We'll do a feature next weekend on the Britain Division.
When was the last time a Billingham team played Slough, Carol?
A long time.
Charlie Colin and Gary Stefan were probably playing.
Probably.
Yeah, so keep an eye on the Britain Division next week, and we'll keep updated on that. I was going to mention as well, one of our early guests was Trevor Hendricks from the Cardiff Canucks, and we talked jokingly about Trevor playing in the playoffs and he wasn't bothered, blah, blah, blah. The Cardiff Canucks have qualified for the South 2 playoffs. So well done to Trevor Hendricks and his Cardiff Canucks. They will be in the quarterfinals same weekend as all the quarterfinals are over the same weekend, the last weekend of March. So very well done to the Cardiff Canucks. And my last piece before I throw it open, Stuart Jackson. Those who noticed Stewie wasn't playing on Sunday, he is currently in international duty playing Bandy, which is ice hockey on an ice sheet the size of a football pitch.
Mental.
It's
GB,
weird.
It's the World Championship Division 2, I think it is. GB have won the first two games. They won 9-0 yesterday. They won 4-2 today. And Stewie's playing. I haven't got the full stats, but I know the team's doing really well. And say Bandy, if you want to check it out, Bandy is mental. It is ice hockey on like a football pitch. This huge piece of ice. I think they're in Finland. is where the tournament's taking place.
Sweden. Oh, okay.
Finland, Sweden. It's up there somewhere.
It's still got snow and frozen lakes.
Yeah. But check it out. They're on Instagram as well. GB Bandy. Have a look. It looks outrageous. These
I didn't even see GB had Bandy until I saw Stuart get called up.
Skating for like 100 yards and scoring. The goals are like full size goals as well. They're not just hockey goals. It looks obscene. It's so good. I said 2 wins out of 2 for GB as well. So well done to them. Keep it up. And Stu Jackson adding to his international honours, having been away with GB universities earlier in the year as well. So Stu Jackson, the international star of the year, you could say. Any other business from you, Carol?
Yeah. Quickie.
May you leave the room? Yes, okay.
Yeah, quick. Can I leave the room, sir? Just a quick one. Don't expect to see a trophy on Sunday. We thought we'd save it to show the Warriors the following Saturday. Cup league presentation will be against the Warriors. We thought they'd enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All doors will be locked.
You ain't leaving the building.
Yeah, so that's Saturday the 22nd is the home game against the Warriors, I think. Which brings to an end our regular season. Talking about trophies and things, presentation night details should be coming out fairly soon.
Yep.
Once the graphic person gets his finger out and get some graphics made. But yeah, look out on Stars socials for details of the Stars presentation night. 2 things already to celebrate. What's to follow? ? Anything else, Carol?
I've got one more. Since I've had to explain this to our general manager at least 3 times, I thought I would just clarify. We do have 3 more trophies to win. He seems to be under the impression it's only 2, but it's definitely 3. So we've qualified for Coventry, and there's actually 2, not 1, 2 playoff trophies up for grabs. So there's the North Playoff Trophy, which the final is on the Saturday in Sheffield, and there is the National Playoff Trophy, which will be played on the Sunday. So despite what Mr. Flavelle says, it's 3 trophies left, not 2.
Yeah, the Ken Taggart Memorial Trophy for Division 1. We'll play the playoff winners of Division 1 against the playoff winners of Division 1 North versus South. And trophies in honour of former AIHH chairman Ken Taggart, as Carol says. So that's on the Sunday of the Steel City Showdown. If there's, I've actually now doing that just reminded us of the competition, which I said I would do at the end as well.
Yes, you did.
Reminders. Steel City Showdown. If you have a look at AIH merch, AIH socials, the events team have got a shop now online where you can purchase bobble hats such as modelled by our Media Supremo. There's also pucks, there's hoodies, you can order your programs. There's going to be a lot more merch there for Steel City Showdown, Final Four, all that sort of good stuff. So if you're interested in some tournament merch, have a look on the shop there for the AIH events team. I'll do the competition at the very, very end. Jono, AOB.
Yeah, so it's been a while since we've had a home game.
Can we just sit back for a bit? Yeah, Jono's going to go.
Yeah, so you may or may not have seen on social media that there is new merch. The new Morley Cup winning pucks are now available. They will be on sale in what seems like our first home game since forever. There may be a new T-shirt on the horizon as well. So very much keep your eyes out for social media on those. I'm saying it under my tongues. I don't know if it's already gone out there. But then by the time you've seen this tomorrow on Wednesday, you might be able to see them. So yeah. And we have our normal property of T-shirts. But yeah, just come and see us at the Supporters Club table on Sunday. It's been ages. Come and say hello. Come and talk hockey with us all. We'll tell you all about what's happening since we last had a home game. We'll tell you about all the fun stuff that's happened on the road. And we do also have the bus to Deeside. I'm told there is a couple of seats left. It's going to be a great day on Saturday. Big celebrations. Get yourself on the bus. It will be fun. And yeah, just come and say hi and get in the spirit of being league champions.
Yeah. Are we champions? Do you think we'd have made more about that if we'd won the league by now?
Twice. Well, it's the third time league champions, but back to back and all that.
Back to back, yeah. Just mentioned about Sunday, reminded us that on Sunday as well, the star of the month for February.
Yeah.
Because you're having a home game forever. So
yes,
the star of the month for February.
The voting's been open and it's closed. That person will be rewarded on Sunday.
And the person has been chosen, so we'll find out on Sunday, and the player will receive a trophy from a supporters club member. So thanks to everybody who's voting for that. The final thing I was going to do, as I mentioned, the goals competition we did last week to win a pair of tickets, thanks to our friends at the National Ice Hockey League. We asked you to guess how many goals will be scored in the weekend just gone, and most of the entries were in the 60s. And because teams were scoring 8s and 9s, and there was 12s and 13s and whatever, there were in total 80 goals scored in the fixtures. And the winner, the closest, was Colin Sample. So well done, Colin. We'll be in touch. We'll get your details, and we'll liaise with the NIHL, get you your tickets, and we'll hopefully see you at the Steel City Showdown. Thanks to Colin. Thanks to everybody who took part. We'll try and get some more competitions going. It was good getting the entries in and getting the engagement with the people out there. It shows people do actually listen to what's going on, which is always a relief. But yeah, so 80 was the total. Colin is the winner. I'll drop him an email, and we'll get the details and we'll get the tickets to Colin. We'll kind of draw a veil there. I know we said to Jacob we let him go and then we talk on for an hour, and we've kind of done that. So if there's nothing more from Carol, no? And from Jono, no?
Just come and get your merch.
You've ticked all the items off your list. Thank you again to everybody for listening and for watching and for being part of Starcast. As I say, we'll be at training this week. We'll try and get a bit more reaction to winning the league, which we did on Sunday for the second time in 2 seasons. So well done to all the guys and the staff behind the scenes as well. Big thank you for your watching, for listening, for being part of Starcast. We enjoy doing it. Thanks to Carol and Jono for their input as always. Thanks to Jacob for jumping on earlier on. We'll see him at the weekend, I'm sure, in the Deeside doubleheader. Saturday 5:15 Deeside Leisure Centre, Sunday 5:30 Forum Ice Arena. But for now, we leave you. I haven't updated the titles for the outro. I'm slipping, but next time we'll get that sorted. Thanks for watching. This has been the podcast of your double league champion, Billingham Stars. We'll see you soon.
Thank you for being part of this episode of Starcast, the official podcast of your Billingham Stars. Remember to like and share this episode, send a review where you can, and follow us on social media for the very latest news and to find out when the next Starcast will drop.